Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly try to help and share some basic information for yourself to build up a very clear, good spiritual foundation. So that's why every day we take few minutes before our practice to bring different kind of interpretations and try to open different windows, different pattern to understand how this practice can provide us a very good environment inside us. So most of time we can see that we try to verbalize our experience. So when we verbalize our experience, you can't bring the right informations regarding that your experience. Another thing is maybe according to the capacity of the knowledge that you have, and at the same time whoever listen to that, and according to his capacity or her capacity of the knowledge, then the communication going to become different. But still, there is a way that we can gain this little by little, little by little. But important thing is when it comes to practice, one of the major key the technique that you have to remember, learn to absorb the experience, and in that very moment, don't try to verbalize it. When you verbalize it in that very moment, you caught up that experience to very limited space. But your experience in the moment is not a limited thing. It's not the kind of like, even though according to the time and the space, and maybe according to the volume of the feelings or the strength, maybe you can measure it. That all the measurement only related to the conventional life. But when it comes to the very eternal way of understanding, the very eternal way of experience, as example for the sensation, in the very little sensation and kind of like a very difficult pain, there's no difference. The same thing. The same thing happening, only the thing is the volume is different. The volume is high. So when the volume is high, the pain and the pleasure, and sometimes in the depth, the way we hold both the same. And if I bring a simile to that, it's like this, that if you see the mouse and the elephant in the middle of the jungle, maybe the elephant is more bigger, the huge animal, but the mouse is a very little. But when it comes to the very essence of life, and according to the very fundamental qualities of the life, there is some similarity in between the mouse and the elephant. So you can't tell, oh, this is better than that, oh, this is more important than this. You can't tell that. So that's why when we say that may all living beings be well and happy, there is no such a kind of limitation or the background or the boundaries for something. So then have you ever experienced the very essence of the life? Because that is where you can really tune or understand all living beings. So otherwise, maybe, by names or the positions or the color, maybe with, oh, I like this animal, oh, I hate this animal. So like that in very conventional life, we always have the comparison. But while you are in the comparison, you can't find the higher level of understanding. So you have to get out of the comparison. So then to get out of the comparison, remember to tune to the very essence of it, essence of the life. So in that way, through practice meditation, it opens your heart, and at the same time, it opens your mind. And not only that, it interconnects in between your heart and the brain. So that connection is not only to the heart and the brain, it's to entire your body, each and every cell. It's kind of like it has its own brain. Each and every organ has its own brain. So when it comes to the brain, so when it comes to the mind, you're all over your body. The mind is there. So through the meditation, you allow to experience. And in that very moment, remember the very first thing, don't try to verbalize. Another thing is that we always have a kind of like an idea when somebody asks something, or when we want to express some ideas, sometimes we think we always have to talk. But there are a lot of things we mess up and we wrongly interpret when we start to talk. So that's why sometimes the very next thing is so the first one, don't verbalize. And if there's no way that somehow when you want to express your ideas, don't be so fast. And try yourself to be clear within yourself. It's kind of like your thoughts you maintain as a journal. And you maintain your thoughts as a notebook. And you maintain your thoughts as a kind of like a letter. So you write it down and then you read it again. And then you understand, oh, this is not something. And you then throw it away. You write down. So like that, you master yourself. You master yourself inside if you have to talk. Because as you know, that sometimes we plan, but when we start to talk, something else come out of us, and then later we say, oh, I didn't have any idea to say that, but it jumped out of my mouth. And sometimes people, plan everything and say, okay, you say this and you say that. And when the conversation happens, something else come, and then later, have an argument. Why you say that? Why you say like that way? And the person say, I don't know. It just came out of my mouth. So like that. Remember yourself, it happens because deeper inside you, you have a so busy that the conversation. So don't verbalize. And if you have to talk, and slow down and look into yourself and be very clear with that what you're going to say. And being silent is one of the other important things. Not all the time, but most of time in day-to-day life, especially, remember, where you have to be silent. That is one thing that you have to remember. And you may never thought about it. And sometimes we according to the situation, the outside layer, we just think though we have to be silent. So this is the measurement. If in the moment, if you have the greed, the strong hatred or the envy, and the ignorance, that means not knowingly reasons yourself, how it came to be as it is. So like that. So if you go with these three things, try to be silent. So that is another thing. When it comes to noble silence, the one is the silence is having the shut down your inner conversation, collaboration. And the other one is when you experience within yourself with the greed, hatred, and the delusion. And that is the moment you have to be silent. Because in that very moment, whatever you say, and things go wrong. Maybe for the moment it's going to be okay, but later you will recognize the outcome going to become something different. So then another thing is, and sometimes we don't have the capacity to understand that ourselves, we are in greed, hatred, or the delusion. But there are some people, because most of the time we have very judgmental mindset. We know about other people. We can't see ourselves. So when you have the conversation with another person, remember, if you recognize that person have the strong greed or the lust, anger or the hatred, another thing is the ignorance. Remember, try to be silent. So yourself, you experience the greed, hatred, and the delusion. And not only that, so that is one thing that you can be silence. Another one is if you experience, if you know, if you may kind of like a feel or sense that other person have the greed, experience the greed. So as example, kind of like you want to talk something, but you feel kind of like that person in the middle of this, dinner table and in dinner time, and have so much, the greed, the seeing the food, or, maybe go out for the lunch or something and seeing the food, maybe he's so hungry, or maybe sometimes, people have so deeper attachment to food. So then maybe that thinking about it or talk, and don't try to talk about anything. It's not going to work. You will never have the right communication when the other person experience the deep, the strong greed or the lust and the hatred. When other person go through deeper anger. But most of time, that is the moment we try to have the conversation. When other person in so much angry and we try to explain, oh, don't do this, it doesn't work. Another one is if the other person so tangled with the ignorance and try to have the conversation, it's better to be silent. But the very conventional life that what we see, the most of time when other person tangle in the ignorance, we are start to talk more fast and so loud, and believing and thinking that our voice will overtake that ignorance and will take that person out of the ignorance. No, it doesn't work like that. Look at the, this this talk shows, that the conversations, arguments, this happen everywhere. And when the two people try to hold their own ideas, another person try to, bring that person idea, it's very rare that there are people accept something. And everybody try to prove that whatever they believe, they think is going to be right. But when it comes to our purpose of the having conversation, it's not like that. You have to master your inner conversation. So out of the conversation, it is not wasting your time. It is not just saying something. It's not just a kind of like a sharing information. What's the point sharing information? It's kind of like a sharing, kind of like, as example, contact details. So when you exchange the contact details, what happened? You improve with your social connections. So when you have the conversation, you have to improve that your inner understanding. So otherwise, just sharing word, if it doesn't bring the improvement, what's the point? You're wasting your time and the energy. And other thing is the most dangerous. Remember that. It can end with something disaster. Just, normal conversation. Just imagine how many times, better than me, birthday parties, weddings, and sometimes anniversary times, family members come together and start, in the same table, and sometimes have just the conversation. And then what happens? They end up the party being enemies, fight each other, and verbally start to abuse each other, and they become enemies, fight each other. The anniversary, you came to celebrate the life. Birthday party, you came to celebrate the life. The wedding, it is the most, the important time for your life. You came for that to celebrate. But how you make enemies out of that moment. How, look that where that the mindset, how we can improve that way. So that why it's happened, because we just talk. That's the thing. Don't do that. Let others to do it. It's nothing wrong with that. But for yourself, you have to master the art of developing becoming master yourself, being a master yourself. And especially with the spiritual practice, one of the major important thing, recognizing this inner conversation, because that creates a huge difference inside us. Why? Because we have a habit always to verbalize. So then remember, the very first thing, your experience, don't try to verbalize inside. And then after that, if you have to talk, and always back up a little bit, void, and wait, take a gap and start to, review yourself again and again, and then you can talk. Another thing is you have to be silent, no matter what. If you are experiencing a strong greed, lust, hatred, or the delusion, and if you can add something for that also, the delusion, create the fear, so you can make it more easy. If you experience the strong fear, and that is the moment to be silenced. And then other thing is, maybe you okay, you experience, that your mind is no greed, hatred, and the delusion, but other person have the strong greed, hatred, and the delusion. And in the moment one of it, the strong, or maybe two of that is strong, maybe all three things together, it's a turmoil, boiling inside. And at that moment, back up. Don't talk. Even if other people will tell you, say something, don't tell anything. Be silent. Because that is the moment it's going to be there. Another thing is, if both you and other person both go through the greed, hatred, or the delusion, ignorance, if you and other person both don't know the reasons, it's better, stay silent. Even it's okay, you die, stay silent. Take a very mindful decision not to talk. Because that's going to become a profitable skill. With that profitable skill, if you die, it's worth for your death. But otherwise, and if you allow that, to things come out of your mouth, and other person, and maybe not only you, and maybe the whole family and the entire society, and maybe the entire civilization can suffer. And look at the human history. There are whole entire, the civilization destroyed. And the very beginning it happened because of the wrong communication. So like that. And other thing is, that is one thing that you have to master inside. So when you master that, then you will see little by little how the clarities come. So another thing today I want to mention, and when you can practice in day-to-day life. So when you see there is a communication happen, your mind start to talk to you regarding what you see. So then allow your eye to see it, but don't have the conversation with inside your mind. It's completely neutralize the communication, that let the seeing part happen. You see something, but there is no inner conversation about it. So that means you don't bring, when you see something with your eye, in that very moment, you don't bring the sanskara or the mental formations or the cankers. So if you have the conversation, means if you verbalize that the experience with your eye, what happens? You depend on the sanskara or the mental formations or the cankers or from your past experience. So now you see something, there's no inner conversation. Inside, neutral, silence. So the seeing part happens. That's why, as you know, there are some Zen meditation, they don't close their eyes. They keep open the eyes, but still the mind becomes so silent. So that is one thing. Now, with your eye, you see, it's everything the same, that when somebody see, that they can see your eyes open and you see things, but you have no inner conversation. You withdraw. It's a conscious decision. And so now take it, and then maybe sometimes you hear things. Let the hearing happen, but don't have the inner conversation. You don't think about it. You don't verbalize the moment of experience. There are a lot of things we hear, but we don't grab it. We don't put attention to that. So normally in a very conventional life, putting attention means what? With the moment of experience we have in a conversation. So now you withdraw it, become silence. So hearing happens, but no conversation about it. So I'm going to take you to some kind of, to have a kind of like a clue or the image about the liberation or the transformation. So the next one is the nose, aroma or the smell, fragrance. So let it happen, but don't have a conversation about it. You can try, you can, kind of like put something and make a nice smell and let it happen. But don't try to, and maybe you can use some kind of perfume, put it to kind of like a cotton, it's going to hold for a while and keep in front of you and let it experience, but don't think about it. Take a conscious decision to be silent, no inner conversation. No, you don't verbalize the moment of experience. And with your tongue, when you eat something, when the taste is there, let it be there, but don't verbalize it. Don't try to, think about it. Because it's not going, when you don't think about it, it's not going to become poison. It's just going to be the same. So let it be there. Only thing is now you work with your mind. You're not going to stay hungry. You just work with it. And now with your body. So whatever the sensation, let it be. Don't verbalize. So as example, in the moment you are sitting now, so that there is a sensation, the heaviness, the feelings there. So don't verbalize it. Don't have the communication with it. Connection with the place that wherever that the sensation, the touch happens. And you withdraw, you don't talk about it inside you. You become silence. And now come to the thoughts. Thoughts happen, but you don't verbalize that thoughts. Because when you verbalize means you get the the help or the backup from the sanskara mental formations or the cankers or your past experience. And let the thoughts to be and let it happen and just experience, don't verbalize. So now with your eyes, you see everything, but no inner conversation, no verbalizing, silence. With your ear, all the sounds come, completely silence inside you, no conversation, no verbalize the experience. With your nose, all the smell or the aromas happens, but no verbalize yourself and try to think and experience. It's just happened, but inside you completely silence. So in that very moment, you don't develop any sanskara. It's a moment of experience, that's it. So with your tongue, the taste is there, but you don't verbalize. You are completely in silence, but it happened. It's that experience there. So you're going to be the same. It's nothing. You're not going to lose anything. Don't worry about it. You're going to have everything, and after that, maybe you're going to have something more. That's why. Because if you think, oh, I'm going to lose that, maybe you're not going to practice it. No, you're going to get something more better. You didn't get it because you caught up with the thoughts. Now you release that. And then now with the sensation, you're not going to verbalize it, but experience happens, but inside you silence. And with your thoughts, the thoughts happening, but you not verbalize that the moment of experience happens, and your thoughts not depend from the past. So now bring that all six together. You see things inside silence. You hear things inside silence. You smell things inside silence. You taste things inside silence. You feel things inside silence. The thoughts arise, but inside silence. With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, if you are capable to get very one single moment of being silence inside, your liberation going to happen. That is the moment that you transform, you shift from this conventional life to your eternal level. And once you have that, it's not going to go back. So you can practice in day-to-day life and you can experience it. And just for one single moment, now you know the mechanism. It's not a magic. It's only thing is you have to have the effort, the will to experience it. Just try to experience for a moment, because otherwise we are like cows, we vomit our own history and experience the new things. And when you hear, smell, taste, seeing, feel, think, what happened, your sanskara mental formations, your history, come and take it and start to chew it and vomit and, and mix it with that. And it's kind of like a, salad, soup. It's all mixed together and you feel so good. No, it's not good, because you never experienced something different. So this is the moment, this is the way that you can. So then now it is not a magic, and no need a kind of like some higher initiation. You don't need any kind of high mental power or some unseen spiritual power. You don't need anything for that. Only thing is having very clear mind and get out of your own inner desire to have the cravingness to have a conversation with while you experience. That's it. So if you are capable to have that, You will get out of your own inner suffering. So now you know the method. From today, if you suffer, if you make the journey longer, then remember you are responsible for that. And the very reason the 5 communications, you didn't master. What are those? That while you're experiencing your inner conversation, you don't know how to be silent. Another one is, in case if you have to talk and you don't think about that and you just say things, so then start to review yourself. Third one, if you experience the greed, hatred, and the delusion, try to stay silent. And the fourth one, if the other person experience the greed, hatred, or the delusion, one thing or two things, or out of 3, or maybe all the 3 things, then stay silent. It's worth for you. And the fifth one, you and other person both experience the greed, hatred, or the delusion. Even you die, it is worth for you to stay silent. So try it, and then you will see. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So bring your right palm to your left and make head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. And scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say so patveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations, and try to experience that inner silence. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. When it happens, through the sensation, recognize inhalation as inhalations, exhalations as exhalations. Do nothing extra. So by the time, gently try to remain in silence and deeply develop yourself to be completely silenced with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind experience. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light to your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward and upward. To all 6 directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity. and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chamyehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjissami Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.